Yep, that me. You're probably wondering how we got in this situation. Well, it all started 2 minutes ago when this undead bitch noob tried to tower rush me.
Hey, what's up everybody, it's Dredrick, and we're back. We're getting around to the Lich Tower Rush video that I promised. There's a little bit of a delay there, but I had to move, which sort of jacked up my plans. But it's all good now, so let's take a look at the game. So what is this build? Let's put the build order up on screen. As you can see, all this is a very standard Fiend opening. The only difference is that instead of making a Death Knight and going to Creep, you make a Lich, 6 Acolyte, and you go Tower Rush's base. It's very simple, very cool. It's hard to scout because it looks like you're just doing a Fiend opening to anyone that does take a look at you. This works very well against Blade Master openings, especially on smaller maps like Amazonia, and Echo Isles. But it can work on medium-sized maps too. It just gives the Orc a little bit more time to prepare. And a medium-sized map is in fact what we're taking a look at. So let's go back to the game. We can see the Lich is just about out. This second Ziggurat is almost finished being made, and as soon as it is, that's when we're going to see the first real change here. As soon as this second Ziggurat's done, you queue up your 6th Acolyte. The Lich sells the TP to buy a Rod of Necromancy and a Blight Skull, and you pull your second Lumber Ghoul, right? You only leave 1 Ghoul on Lumber for this. And after that, we go across the map. You don't need an extra Ziggurat, a 3rd Ziggurat in your base. You're going to stay at 30 supply here until you make more Ziggurats at his base, and you just keep queuing up these Crypt Fiends and rallying them to your army. If he doesn't kill any of them, you'll end up with 5 once you get at 30 supply, but it's probably not going to happen. Anyway, very simple. Once you get to his base, put down this Blight and start making Ziggurats. You're going to have money for 2 Ziggurats right off the bat. Make them somewhere out of the range of his burrows. You don't want him to be in burrow range. And then you just start whacking on things. Your priority target here in the fight is going to be these Grunts. Don't put too much damage on the Blade Master. Don't try that. Go after the Grunts first. And whatever he attacks, just use Frost Armor on it. And it really, a lot of Orcs just cannot deal with this whatsoever. They're gonna have a hell of a time. Keep spamming these skeletons as soon as things die, and you'll just replenish your army. And as you can see, it looks pretty imbalanced, right? Like, what is the Orc supposed to do against this? He'll try to kill the Acolyte a couple times, which is actually why, as the game goes on, you're going to want to make an extra Acolyte and rally it to your army, because a lot of Orcs will be able to kill this Acolyte if they're good. But it's not that big of a deal. That's one of the reasons that I build the Ziggurats like this, so you have a little kind of channel to run between. And that's it. He just calls GG right away. So what about a Blade Master harass? What if he comes to harass you right away? Well, that's not really that big of a deal. All you really have to do is just make an Nerubian Tower in your base. Ideally, you'll wall off your base so he just can't get in to begin with. But if you mess up the wall or you just forget, then it's not that big of a deal. You just bring your Fiends to put damage on the Blade Master, use Frost Armor to protect your Acolytes, and then as soon as this Nerubian Tower gets up, you're pretty much good to just sort of leave your Acolytes in base to micro them and go ahead and head across the map. So we'll wait a minute here, and I think I stay a little too long and put some extra damage on this Blade Master, which is fine, but you don't want to give him too much time. You kind of want to, as soon as this Nerubian's up, the harass is for the most part shut down, so you kind of just want to get the hell out of here and go to the fun part. And here it is. Following up on that, go to his base, have some skeletons, drop the Blight, and get the Ziggurats on the ground. Again, make sure these Ziggurats are out of range of his burrows. If he doesn't fight you right away, what you want to go after is the shop. Take away his items, and then after that, you start trying to kill peons and burrows. But for starters, as soon as he does come into the fight, start putting damage on the Grunts and getting them out of the picture. When he attacks the towers, you just let him deal some damage to him, but cancel the towers right before they die. And then as soon as they go down, you just go build another one. It's not that big a deal. And that's another GG. But not every game is going to be an instant win. Some games you have to play out a little bit, right? So let's take a look at a slightly longer form game. This time, the opponent actually is going to be playing Farseer. That's right, he's doing one of these things. This is something that some Orcs have started to do, is go for this really fast expansion with the Farseer and be really greedy about it with the expansion as well. Farseer is a lot harder to play against with this strategy, but it's not like you can't win. You can still win. Even though he's kind of got a counter to it, just you know, don't give up. Just buckle down and micro your ass off and wait for him to mess up. You know, these guys they're ladder players. They're not playing pro games with this strategy, so you know, people make mistakes, and my opponent actually does make quite a few mistakes in this game that let me get the win anyways. So as you can see, he's going really hard after my units, which is smart right away, and he's going to kill a lot of these crypt fiends. You know, with chain lightning is a pain in the ass. The wolves are really strong, but he does let me get these towers up uncontested instead of killing any of the towers. The only real difference against playing against Farseer in terms of how you want to play it out is you want to make sure that you kill the wolves right away. The wolves do a lot of damage, but have very little hit points, so if you leave them alone, they're going to kill all your fiends, and it's going to be bad times. So you do have to kill these wolves and then start going after the grunts. But again, all you really got to do is just micro the fiends back. It's still going to be really hard for his wolves and grunts to do a ton of damage because you can micro with frost armor. And then if you can get the towers up, it's going to be bad times for your opponent, no matter how he looks at it. So he's got tier 2. He's actually going to start a Shadow Hunter soon, and that's going to be a pretty strong play. But you know, with 2 towers up, all of a sudden, this starts to go pretty bad for the Orc player. Farseer retreats, and he's done a really good job killing my units. He's got me down to 1 fiend, even though I've been, you know, making fiends, replacing them the whole time. I just have run out. But now he's got to deal with the bigger problem. You got an Arubian and a Spirit Tower in your base, homie. What's your plan? Lich is level 2. You want to get Frost Armor if you do get level 2, and even though he's got level 3, he's in a really bad spot. If you do end up in this situation, where the game kind of extends a bit, you do build a 3rd tower. You want to get a 3rd one. You don't want to go kind of start teching out of it right away. You want to keep up the pressure. This is... The tier 1 rush is pretty all in. There's ways to transition out of it if you do a ton of damage and he locks you out. Like the correct thing for the Orc to do, he should be building a War Mill so he can kind of build some defensive towers so I can't get any closer. And then he builds Demolishers to kill the Ziggurats, which this player obviously doesn't do. But once you get a couple towers up, next thing you want to build is actually another Tomb of Relics. You build a shop here on the Blight, because you can see you've used up all your Skeleton Wand charges, so you get another Rod of Necromancy after that. Level 3 wolves, or level 2 wolves, I suppose. They're very dangerous. You can see they just absolutely destroy your fiends with these crits and everything, but they still go down to towers, just like everything else. And now you can see the wheels are turning in the Orc's head. He doesn't really know what to do. He gets Spirit Wards, which I think is pretty smart. I think that's probably a decent option to pick up to try and do some damage back. But this Spirit Tower is going to kill these wards a lot faster than this ward's going to kill the Spirit Towers. And he doesn't really know what to do. He thinks maybe I'll kill the Lich. Maybe not. But you're going to see a lot of games like this where even if you make some mistakes, it's a very different strategy with that puts people in uncomfortable situations they're not familiar with or comfortable with. Like here he's thinking, hey, let me kill this Acolyte, but oh shit, that's right, Liches get Nova. I forgot that they get that. And the game is over, and he's done. So very simple, very quick video this time, nothing too complicated, but it's a very fun strategy. It's one I recommend you at least try out a couple times. Maybe you don't like it, maybe you don't think that towers are fair or whatever, but hey, you know what? It's fun.